Live. All right.
Wow.
Yay! So we are live. Welcome everyone. My name is Kat from Major League Hacking. I am a product manager at MLH. I am here to do just a fun community interview with our good old friend Chris Gu. We're gonna wait a little bit for some more folks to come on. But Chris, do you want to start off by introducing yourself?
Hi, my name is Chris Gu. I'm currently a student at Missouri University of Science and Technology. Um, I organize a hackathon called Pick Hacks, which is how I got involved with MLH. And I make filters in my free time.
Yeah, and we're gonna get all into that. So, first of all, I think it's really cool that you've been through like several different roles within the community. I know that your first hackathon was Global Hack, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So what was your like perspective on like hackathon community stuff before you went there? Were you like, I'm gonna be a developer, like already had a really good idea of everything, or was there like an aha moment for you?
I actually didn't know what to expect when I went to Global Hack. I like barely even knew how to code. So I just like went for like the experience. They also like came down and like, here, you can have like free tickets or whatever. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll go. And so I went and like I found a team online and I didn't know what the process was, but I actually didn't do any code throughout the entire hackathon. I actually designed the entire app. Um, so that was pretty cool. And then like afterwards, I kept in touch with the people that was on my team, and then I also kept in touch with the people who went to the hackathon from my university, and we all had an amazing experience. And so that's what prompted me and my co-founder Luis to create our own hackathon at S&T.
Oh, I don't know if you just cut off for a bit, but yeah, so you met Luis at that event. So, and you both did you co-found Pickaxe or did you take it over from someone else?
Um, so there was a hackathon called Sham Hacks, but the organizer was kind of like, he's so tired from it. So we basically took it over-ish. Like we basically rebranded everything. It was basically an entirely new hackathon.
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. So how has it been working with Luis like throughout all these years? I feel like y'all are just such like an iconic pair, you know? Um,
It's been awesome. Like we went to the same high school, so now we go to the same university, and now we organize the same hackathon. So it's
oh my
been a
gosh,
pretty
you
long
went
journey.
to high school?
Yeah, we sang in choir too together.
That's crazy. Oh my gosh, I love that for you.
And like it's
Um,
so nice because he is also very opinionated and like doesn't care about what others think of his opinion. So like we just bounce ideas off of each other. And we'll like rip our ideas to shreds, but like we personally don't take it to like heart because we know it's like for the better of the hackathon. So like we go through so many ideas and we talk about all these different options, and like I think that's a pretty cool relationship to have.
yeah, I think that's especially important to have like as you go into the workforce and everything else. And that's really like it's really special and good that you have that bond with someone. So like what do you think you've like gained the most from organizing?
I think my leadership style plus like product management skills. I actually thought I was going to go into software engineering um, as I got into this degree, but after organizing Pickaxe and like all the experiences that I've gotten through it, I like realized that my passion is actually in product management. Not like actually coding, but like working with like the developers, the business, and the designers to create features that customers actually want. And so I feel like I've learned those skills through my hackathon experiences. And I'm really appreciative of it because it helped me get my Microsoft internship. So that was pretty cool.
For Microsoft. So you went from hacker to organizer, internship at Microsoft, like how like do you think there was a lot of like it was really incremental? Did it happen all at once? Like how was that experience for you?
Very incremental. The first like half semester that we did it, boy, it was such a struggle. We literally knew nothing about like organizing hackathons. And so um, Luis and I, we like made it a mission to like get on to as many peer groups as possible. Like everyone that was scheduled, we would be on it, and we would take notes, and then like we would ask questions and get strategies, and then now we have like documentation that's like pages and pages long. Um, so it's yeah, we had a rough start, but like with the hard work that we put into it, it matched what we were the energy that we were putting into it.
Yeah. I think that it's just something that just takes a lot of time. So yeah, like I love that you were involved with MLH with the peer groups. Also, we've got Mackenzie pointing out our matching pillow game, which I like.
Hey,
Matching
and
hat.
matching hats. Hi,
um,
Pranay.
we did coordinate that. Um, so let's get into the filters because I think that's what everyone really wants to know about. Um, so how did you like take me from the very beginning? Like, what was the first filter? What got you into it? Was it like a hacker? Because I feel like you kind of have this like hacker like ethos to you already. Like, was that just a let's just see what we can get done in a weekend thing?
So kind of. So I was in Tel Aviv this past winter break for a tech entrepreneurship program called TAV Tech. And the track that I was in was cybersecurity. So we basically have cybersecurity courses every single day. Um, but like starting the middle of the the program, I was like, this ain't it for me, to be honest. I was like, cybersecurity is way over my head. So like during class, my friend Rain, she's like, oh, there's like cool filters on Instagram that you can make. And I was like, I'm gonna use class time to make a filter. And so that's what I did. I think the first filter that I made was which dog breed are you? That took about like a day. I followed like a tutorial on YouTube, and that one hit it off. Like that got over like 100 million like views, which was crazy. And then that like catapulted my like interest into making filters. Um, the next one I made was like never have I ever, or the next one was like which boba were you? Which boba are you? I just kept making them more and more, and then I'm at the point where like I can like take an idea into a filter in like a matter of like a couple hours, which is pretty cool.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Yeah, it's so funny because I ended up using a lot of your filters, not realizing that you made them until someone was like, oh, Chris, give me the dog filter. And I was like, absolutely not. You did not. It went so viral. It's like immediate, like, what do you think made it immediately go viral?
Wait, which one you cut out?
The dog filter? Like, what do you think that like first
Ah.
filter? Like, what do you think about it?
So I think it went viral because it was at the stage of like Instagram filters where like the what are you kinds of filters were like going viral. And so it's like, what's something that everyone likes? I was like, dogs. Because I want a dog. So I was like, I gotta make a dog breed filter. It wasn't the best looking filter, but it did the job. So and then I like DM'd so many of my friends to share it and post it on their stories. And that's actually key to making something viral. Um, and then fortunately, a ton of my friends did, and then it just like got out there, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what do you think? You mentioned earlier like it wasn't a really good filter like visually, but like friends shared it and it was something that people could resonate with. So like what do you consider like what makes up a good filter in this like if we're talking about like in this sort of like game filter space? Because I feel like that's what you really do as opposed to like the super like artsy ones or like the beauty filters or whatever.
Yeah. For game filters specifically, it has to be um, replayable. You can't just like do it once. You have to like be able to do again. That like keeps the person interested in the filter and they're more likely to share it on their stories. Another is it can't be too long of a game. Like stories are 15 seconds long. So if your game was like a minute long, you would have to post like four like stories on your Instagram, which is kind of a lot. So it has to be like something short and sweet. Um, and so yeah, I think those are like the two things that you have to take in mind. Because at the end of the day, you want to get those shares because it reaches a larger audience, and that audience has the potential to use the filter and share it as well. And you have to keep that chain reaction going.
Yeah, I can totally see that. And I definitely spent like way too long. Like I remember when I first went on the gibberish filter, I was like, oh, this is great. And I like shared the first one and I was like, okay, let's see if I can get the next one. And so I think I spent like 15 or 20 minutes when you first posted it, just being like, cut the put, oh, it's Make America. No. I
It's
love
like
that.
crazy because like I get DMs saying like people like do it a couple times every single morning as their like daily routine, and I'm like, wow, that's great to hear.
Oh, that's so interesting. Like, have you thought about making a filter around that kind of like habit forming and that like stickiness, like exploring that?
I haven't, but like it might be something to pursue because like everyone has routines, and if your filter can be a part of that routine,
Yeah,
then that will that will be a big hit.
like a daily stand up.
Yeah.
This is the collab. This is where the collab starts.
Yes.
That's awesome. So, you said in the beginning, like you got the dog filter just immediately went viral. So have you kind of like you've made a bunch since? Like it's in the dozens, right? Um, do you have like a kind of like formula or like a secret sauce to something that's going to go viral?
I actually don't. I mainly like do them for fun and not for like virality. So I didn't really like think back then like what would make this filter viral. I just thought like what would be something I would use and what would be something that my friends would use. And so that's what I did. Um, and yeah, I think I've made over like 20, and it's like kind of insane. And they like range from like various stuff. Like I have one that's like one that makes your skin smooth. There's one that's like that blurs parts of your screen. There's one that like gives you a score based on your smile. I just like do whatever happens, you know?
Yeah, and so for like the folks out there that might not even know where to get started, can you give like a super high level, like this is how you make them, starting from like thinking the idea to posting it? Like give us like the what's the normal process like for you?
So for me, I write down my idea in my little notebook.
I love
And then I like draft some like initial designs. And then if I like the design and I like the idea, then I will start designing it in Figma. Um, like the actual assets that I'll be using in the program Spark AR. And Spark AR is the augmented reality program that Facebook allows people to use to build filters for Instagram. Um, and so after I finish my assets in Figma, I will go into Spark AR and I'll just like start doing the little patches and then do some little code and then work. Um, and then I'll publish it on the Spark AR Hub. It's basically like a dashboard of all your filters. And so I actually didn't really know how to make filters just like through the documentation. People in the community actually make like very deep dive tutorials on YouTube. And so I followed those for like a while. And now I'm at the point where I don't really need to follow them. I just like know all the different options and you just like use logic to put them all together.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and the cool thing, I've used Spark AR before, and I think the really cool thing for beginners, if you're out there and you're thinking about making one, is you don't really need to know how to code. And I think like a cool thing about like, especially with your story, is like the dog filter, like you said, like that's not super technologically advanced, like I think
Right.
that's something where like one of those what are you filters, that's something like a freshman in college or younger, like a very beginner hacker could start off with and get some like really cool success. We actually, this isn't really a plug, I'm just genuinely mentioning this, but we actually have a Spark AR challenge for and I think starting like last week, and I don't know when it ends, but About that idea, like they're at a digital hackathon, they want to submit to it, like what do you recommend, like starting with, thinking about, like, etc.
Sorry, you cut out a lot there.
I'm sorry. So like we have a Spark AR is a new partner for MLH, so we have a
Oh, awesome.
challenge now for our digital hackathons. Do you have, like, what do you recommend for people with thinking about even an idea, like some questions for them to ask themselves?
I would ask them, like, I would like tell them to like think about what you might potentially share as a story, um, or like what you're passionate about, and then incorporate that into the filter. For example, I love to sing. I made an acapella group at my university, and so I obviously had to make a filter that's like a karaoke roulette, where it, like, filters through songs, and then once it lands on it, you have to sing. And so just whatever you're passionate about, whatever you think might resonate with a ton of people, and yeah, I hope that was an okay answer.
Honestly, I think that's really good advice, and that's kind of advice that I try to give to hackers in general. Um, because it's very important to have that, like, user empathy from the beginning, and it really is a lot like normal software. So we have some folks asking on Twitch if they can ask questions. Absolutely. Emily wants to know if you have an idea for an upcoming filter.
Yeah, it's actually in the process of getting approved. It's called Twist the Tongue, and it's basically just tongue twister. And I have some really good ones in there. The UI is pretty cool. It has like sound effects. It's gonna be pretty dope.
Or roast me one. Did you write
Yeah.
those roasts yourself?
I wrote like one or two, but most of them were I like scoured the internet like for hours, like trying to find the best roast. Like I went on Pinterest, I went on Reddit, I went on like hundreds of websites to like find the one-liners that were like so good.
They're really good. That is that I just kept doing over and over and over again, and I just kept being like, Chris, why do you have so much anger in your body? Mr. One. I think that's, again, when you were talking earlier about like replayability, like that totally sounds like it's gonna have awesome replayability.
hmm And
Um,
something I found out or realized from the gibberish filter is that people like to post when they mess up. Like when I look at the TikToks that people are using for gibberish, it's not the ones they do right, it's the ones that they do wrong. And so like having like some sort of provoking reaction from the user itself is another way to like increase virality and like sharing and like stuff.
yeah, I can definitely see that. Because the one thing I will say with all of your filters is I think I definitely, when I do them, I'm like, after I get whatever the thing was, you know? So that's awesome. I like that, like, level of surprise. Emily wants to know if you can actually share a tongue twister with us.
Yeah, cool. Let's see if I can pull one up.
You can also share your screen if you'd like.
Well, classic is toy boat. I had to add that in there. It's honestly so hard. I
Right
can't even
now.
do it myself. Toy
Do it.
boat. I can't. Toy boat, toy boat, toy boat. I can't. It's so hard. It's so hard. And then like another one would be let's see. Which wristwatches are Swiss wristwatch? Which wristwatches are Swiss which I can't. It's too hard. But hopefully other people can do it because I'm bad at with words.
I'm pretty excited about it. I personally am very good at tongue twisters, so I'm
Ooh.
yeah. We got a long comment from this person, basically saying that they can't see themselves coding without an IDE. Um, And this is mainly a question about like using, I guess, an IDE as opposed to a text editor. Do you have any opinions or advice on that?
An IDE stands for
Integrated development environment. So like Visual Studio Code, for example.
and what I think about that versus like a program like Spark AR.
I think, let me read this again. Can you? I mean, we can bring this into like, I know that Spark AR has a very different like style of coding because it's more of that. Is mapping the right word for it?
Uh, here's a good like association. So, what's the MIT software thing where you like put blocks together? I forget.
Oh,
Scratch,
Scratch.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's basically what the Spark AR patch editor is. You take these different blocks and then you drag like the values, the booleans or the text into other blocks to make like complex logic webs.
Mm-hmm.
But in addition to that, they allow you to add scripts um, to your project to basically where you don't even need patches at all. You can do everything via script. But that's like for advanced people who like actually know how to code. So they cater to both audiences, people who don't really necessarily know how to code and they can do stuff with patches, and people who can do code. They give that option, and they have all the documentation for like what to provide and stuff.
Okay, great. So to answer your question, Jumbitre, basically, you know, you can use kind of like a coding building block system with Spark AR, or you can use like a script, and I think that you can use whatever you'd like. There's honestly, I use an IDE, and there's no shame in it. You know, do whatever makes you feel comfortable. All right, so I do want to talk about like the experience that you had of going viral, because I think I've never gone viral. I think it's something that's like a very unique experience to have. So what happened? Like, did you pick up your phone and you were like, oh my god, this has hundreds of millions of views? Did it like go slowly over time? Like, just tell me the whole story from the very beginning.
So I finished building it, and then it got approved. And I was like, I don't know if people will actually use it. And so I posted it on my story, like, oh, I have a new filter. But then I also DM'd an influencer that I watch on YouTube. Her name is Elle Mills. And she was in a video where they played the game Incoherent with a bunch of her influencer friends. And so I actually got inspired by watching that video to make the filter. And so I DM'd her saying, oh, yeah, I got inspired by your video. And I actually made this filter. Would love if you could try it and like share it. And she actually did. She saw my message. She posted it on her story. And then everyone else that was in the video also posted them using the filter. And then it like somehow got viral on TikTok. I think someone made a funny like reaction to it and they posted it on TikTok, and that one video got viral to the point where everyone started jumping on the trend because everyone wants to go viral on TikTok. And now I think on TikTok, the gibberish hashtags have over like 200 million views.
Oh my god.
And so I think primarily because of TikTok, it like got as big as it was. But from the source, it was because of Elle Mills. Like she was the one that like got it out there, which is pretty cool.
That's so exciting. Oh my gosh. I hadn't even thought about like TikTok being like a factor in that. And you use TikTok pretty regularly, right? Was that even like a thing you considered? Because you post singing videos, right?
Yeah,
TikTok.
I I created an account right as quarantine started. And I posted a couple of videos, and then I didn't really think about it. I didn't really use TikTok that much. I mainly just use it to watch videos. I didn't really post a lot of content. And then I don't know. It just like happened. And I wasn't like I didn't even promote it on TikTok. That was never my intention because it's an Instagram filter. Obviously I wanted to grow on Instagram. But then I grew on TikTok and I was like, huh, interesting because TikTok actually has their own like Spark AR, like where people can create filters for TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but an Instagram filter got viral on TikTok. So I was just very confused, but also very happy at the same time. Like, yeah, it was great.
That's awesome. So yeah, we talked like a little bit earlier before, but like, before the stream started, and I was just like, oh my gosh, is like your phone just blowing up? Like, how has it been getting all of that like attention from celebrities? Like, I think you and I have both been like freaking out anytime experience been? Is it like surreal seeing these people that you've watched for a while like you actually using your filter?
It's so surreal. Like people would DM me stories of other people, like celebrities using my Instagram filter. And I'm just like, oh wow. Like even they have seen it. Like, yeah, it was like it's been like a crazy ride. Like I started out with like around 3,000 followers. And now I have almost 60,000, which is crazy to think even that many people would like want to follow like a filter creator. So yeah, and like my phone literally has been blowing up. I get messages nonstop. It's like so hard to keep up with. And like I received hate for the first time. But like I guess that comes with like going viral. Like not you're not gonna please everyone. So yeah. And I just like it still hasn't sunk in yet. Like I just like post stories just like I usually do before. And like I don't really think that 60,000 people like watch them, but I guess they do. And it's like it's just sort of a weird concept because that's a lot of people.
Yeah, when you actually think about like 60,000 people, like there's universities that are smaller than that. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for you. It is, blow up from having like this really awesome hacker like ethos of like I'm just going to put it together, try, see what's going on. Do you think that like what you've learned from hackathons and everything like informed you getting involved with this or like changed how you feel about like product design?
It definitely has made me hackathons have definitely made me like better at like picking up something, like starting something that I've never learned before and like actually creating a project. Because I have a couple friends who was like, oh yeah, you can create filters from Spark AR, but they never ended up doing it because like there's some sort of like barrier of entry. But I think of that hackathons and through all the projects that I've done have like decreased the barrier of entry to allow me to like jump on these projects that I probably may have not done if I hadn't done hackathons before. And all of these projects I've been doing have definitely increased my product design skills. I used to design everything in PowerPoint with the
I did
shape
that too.
because like I've used PowerPoint like my entire life, so like why not just use PowerPoint? And it got to the point where like I would do gradients and like everything in PowerPoint, and then I finally moved onto like another platform, and my designs just like got better and better over time. My designs before like sucked, but now they're like I think they're like decent. Like practice makes better. So
Yeah, yeah. I think that you just validated like so many hackers out there because I used Google Slides for all of my like UI UX stuff.
yeah.
Until like the past like year, I stopped doing it.
What do you use currently?
Right now, I'm big into Procreate because I'm on my tablet
Mm.
for illustration. I also really like Figma. But I think we've talked about this before, but I'm very much more of an illustration person than like a
Yeah.
vector art person. But yeah, so like if you could like let's go all the way back to like global hack Chris. Like what would you say to that version of yourself? And how do you think that he would react?
Um, I would say to myself to keep going. Ever since Global Hack, I've had that kind of drive to like keep doing more hackathons and like keep learning. When before, like I would only just focus on schoolwork. Oh, I would tell him this. I would tell him this. Don't school is like important, but like it's not everything. Like put energy into other passions that you have, and that will bear more fruits than like getting a 4.0 in school. Because yeah, I've realized throughout my entire experience that yes, school can like give you the skills, but like being able to take those skills out of the classroom and like put it to use to something that you're passionate about is much more beneficial, I feel like, personally.
I
From a
think
person who like doesn't attend class that much.
I think a lot of people in the community would definitely echo that. And I think the coolest thing about, talking to any of these people in the community is like everyone starts by just being terrified, not knowing what a hackathon is, et cetera, et cetera. So it's really cool just like watching you just grow. What are your like next steps? Like, what are you gonna keep just making filters? Do you want to move on to like something else? Do you want to like go this influencer route? Like, have you thought super hard on what you're gonna do next?
Actually, not much. For the near future, I'll probably keep pushing out filters. I know that some like filter accounts have like huge audiences, like over 100,000, over 200,000. So like maybe that's something I want to do. But I'm not sure. People have like asked me to like make a YouTube channel, like make tutorials and stuff, but like I don't know yet. Like maybe the influencer route is an option now that like I've had this like viral filter. But I still kind of want to have a job with a stable source of income.
Yeah.
So who knows? I'll let you guys know what I'll do next.
Yeah. Well, we will be here along the way. And then yeah, maybe in a few months we check in again and it's like, oh yeah, I just like a million. But yeah, all right. Well, we are running out of time, so I'm going to end our little conversation. But it was a pleasure talking to you, Chris.
It was a pleasure talking to you as well for the first time.
Yeah, for context for people watching, Chris and I message each other on Instagram all the time, and I got onto this call and I was like, "Have we spoken in person before?" Yeah, so it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you to everyone that has joined. If you have any feedback, if you'd like to see more of these videos, please let us know. Like our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube and our Twitch for more content in the future, and to hear about our MLH Summer League digital events that are really exciting, happening soon. If you want to try out Spark AR, like our friend Chris here. But any final things that you want to say to the community while you're online?
Just keep going for it, and like if you want to follow me on Instagram, like go ahead.
Yeah, here I'll put a banner real quick. It's at @goo_Christopher. There we go. All right. Well, have a great day. Absolute blast talking to you. Thank you so much for taking some time to talk to me. Filters are amazing. I hope everyone has learned something and followed Chris on Instagram real quick. That's all for me. Thanks so much, everyone. Happy hacking. Have a great day.
Bye. Thank you.